Welcome to this week's Rebel Run Sports Show. I am John Moore,
The biggest arms in the business.
joined as always by Rob Giampapa.
My mama don't like you, but she likes everybody.
Rob, another great week of basketball.
Another great week of basketball.
Another great week of basketball. So you started out Herndon Centerville girls.
Herndon at Centerville.
Yep.
Centerville, you should be ashamed of yourself for more people not being at that game. I'll say that first of all. It was a great game in the area. You got two really good teams going. Shameful that there wasn't more people at that game. Shout out to Sierra Edwards. She's on the coaching staff over at Herndon. She's a fan of the show. She likes the fact that we cover girls basketball as much as we do.
Very nice.
She was a basketball player herself. Also the sister of Indy Sanders.
Huh.
Indy Sanders must have learned everything she knows from her.
There he is. That's right.
But yeah, get out there that game. Hey, it's two really good teams going. Even game in the first half. Allie Gambone for Centerville. She's their point guard. She handles the ball a lot. She kind of controls that team and controls everything that's going on. She's really good. She's not going to like blow you away with speed or anything like that.
Right.
But you can tell she's a really good athlete, and she's smart. She knows what she's doing.
Yep.
She can play. She's just solid. She controlled that thing. Centerville is up 19-18 at the half. They had a freshman named Kaya Hall. I didn't see the last time I saw Centerville play. She's going to be really good really soon.
Yeah.
She's got confidence. You know, sometimes when you get a freshman in a game like that, they're a little bit timid.
Right.
She's not scared to shoot.
Not scared?
Not scared to shoot. So she's going to be really good really soon. Indy Sanders was not having her best night shooting. And you know, she's a really unselfish player, so there's a lot of times where she doesn't even need to score. But she was having a bit of an off shooting night. She was missing a lot of shots early. So it was kind of like, man, Centerville's up 19-18. What's going on here?
Right.
Second half, Herndon takes complete control of that game. They go on a 20-9 run in the third. Looks like Centerville had some like substitutions, you know, just from the outside looking in. I wasn't really sure. They have a player named Cece Conklin, who she's good. Now there were stretches in that game where she wasn't in the third quarter. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe foul trouble, maybe something else was going on. I'm not sure, but I thought she should have been in there more during that 20-9 run. They come out. Herndon, this game, like Indy Sanders, I said she had a bad shooting night. She finished with 4 points, 7 assists, and 10 rebounds.
Fill the stat sheet.
Fills up the stat sheet. But this game was all about Devin Newman and Taylor Strasser for Herndon. Devin Newman I've talked about her a bunch. She finishes with 16 and 4 rebounds. She's got a really good mid-range game. She knows when to shoot and when not to. But Taylor Strasser, 13 points, 16 rebounds. She dominated that game late.
Huh.
I mean, she dominated that game. She had
13 and 16?
13 and 16. She had some post moves that were absurd. Like, she was terrific. But Herndon goes on to win 45-30. They took complete control in that second half and didn't let go. You go from down 18-19 to winning 45-30.
It's big.
It's a big second half.
Yep.
John?
Well, I was at the Champ Loudon Valley game, which had, you know, a lot of build-up, a lot of hype around it. Loudon Valley, you said it last week, you fully expected them to remain undefeated after this game, and You were absolutely right. Good atmosphere in there. I thought Loudon Valley would travel better. Maybe they're getting a little spoiled with all their victories, but it wasn't as busy. I mean, Champ represented at home, but Loudon Valley, I expected more student section. Maybe they had something going on.
Yeah.
Game started off competitive. I mean, it was Loudon Valley went up. I think it was 19-8, and then Champ ran off some points. 19-17 at the end of one, and it was like, whoa, this is going to be a ball game. Even at halftime, I think they were only down by 11 or something like that. A couple things to point out here.
Okay.
Champ coach Bill Maher. Far be it from me to tell somebody how to coach a basketball team, because I'm not a coach. But when a team goes on a run, what do?
Call a timeout.
Okay? If they're not figuring it out, I don't know what happened to his ability to call a timeout, I'll call it, but there were stretches there where this game was close and competitive, where Loudoun Valley does what they do and they amp up their defense and they get a couple easy buckets. Really unselfish basketball team.
They are.
Where everyone in the crowd is, all right, timeout. Timeout. Yeah. Nothing. Third quarter, 26-6 is the score, right? It started off with a 20-0 run. No timeout. I don't think he called a timeout until a minute left in the game when they were already down by 40 points.
Oh. And Loudoun Valley can score in a hurry.
They can score. They got talent. They're unselfish. They're well coached.
Yeah.
There was a game within the game. Dom Fragala, who played his heart out. He was all over the floor. Yeah. Didn't have his best shooting night by any means, but it's hard. They were double teaming him the whole game. And we talked about it earlier in the season. Champ's going to need to find some help. They got some young players that'll get better, but right now they're struggling. They're 6-6, I believe, right now. But Fragala had 32 points. But watching him and Nick Ball, the one-on-one, you can tell. You can see them talking on the court. I'm sure they know each other pretty well at this point, but you could tell competitive-wise, because Nick Ball hasn't been putting up a whole bunch of points this year.
He doesn't need to.
But you could tell he was, they were going at each other, and it was good. Jordan Miller, who I think had dunked in every game except for this one, but they tried. There was a couple lobs there that didn't get completed, but they were going for it. But this was second half one-sided. But I'm dumbfounded. No timeouts. 20-0 run. They're not figuring it out. Call a timeout.
Got to. Loudoun Valley. Dominic Peterson.
Yeah.
That dude is just a straight shooter. I told you before we started here, I told you last year I saw them in a game. I can't remember who they were playing, but Jalen Williams is coming down the court with a wide open layup and kicks it to the corner for like a baseline three. And I was like, what is this dude doing? He knows that guy can shoot.
Dude, they are crushing people. Parkview should have called in sick. You lose 93-13 in your season opener. There's got to be a way not to play that basketball game. They lost 98-35, so they scored 3 times as many points and still lost by 60.
Hey man, that's tough.
That's tough.
There's no other way to say it. That's just a tough night. Well, John, we had a chance earlier, speaking of people who are crushing people.
Yeah.
Potomac.
Man.
2 out of 3 state titles in the last 3 years. Coming off a big state title run, we talk about them a lot.
Yeah.
The team they got, they're ridiculous. Probably the best coach team in the area.
Yeah, he's impressive.
He is impressive.
He's impressive.
That ring is impressive too.
It is.
So
Need one of those.
Absolutely. And you tried your hardest to get one from him too. But we had a chance to sit down with Coach Keith Honore from Potomac. Take a look. All right, we're here with Coach Keith Honore. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing well, guys. Thanks for having me.
Great, thank you. Sporting the ring, nice and prominent. That's last
like a
year's
WWE championship belt.
Hey man, you go through the competition in Northern Virginia. That's what you're going to get coming out the state there.
It was well earned, well earned.
Sure it was.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are off to a tremendous start this year already. Only hiccup you had was against a New Jersey team. John and I talked about it last week. You kind of got to go out of state to find some competition. Talk about your team going into this year.
We had a senior heavy group that we returned from a team that just won the state championship. I thought it was important that we take them away from here, get them out of their comfort zone a little bit, let them see some things that they hadn't seen or we typically see. We went down to Salisbury, played in that Governor's Challenge, 101 teams there. We were able to play some teams from 3 different states. We played one of North Carolina's top team in Olympic, played well, beat them. Then we had to turn around and play Stephen Decatur the next night, who's one of the top teams in Maryland, 3A. They lost in the state championship the year prior. And then the third day, we ran into a team out of New Jersey, Linden, New Jersey, who won the state championship and were one of the top teams in New Jersey. Had a chance to win it in the end, just didn't get it done. But great experience for us. Again, we were able to see some things that we don't typically see. Decatur had a 6'7", 6'8" kid. Rarely do you see that in public school. So we were able to gain some experience from that. build our chemistry a little bit, get the guys to spend some time with each other, and get ready for this stretch run.
Good. Let's talk about you a little bit. How did you get to this point as coach of a successful program?
I played at Potomac, graduated in '92, played for Kendall Hayes. Then, I went out to college, played for college a little while, came home, and he was fortunate enough to hire me as his freshman coach. Coached freshman for a little bit, moved up to JV, coached JV for a couple years, and then right there, I had moved up to a varsity assistant with him, and then obviously he retired and wanted to watch Eric play at Maryland.
Sure.
So I was fortunate enough to get the job at Potomac, and I came in. I remember the day I got the job. Kendall retired on a 77-game win streak. So that's what. right. So that's what I was coming behind, and I remember, I got the call saying, "Hey, Coach, we're gonna hire you as the head coach," and I remember my first thought was, "What did I just do?" I've been fortunate and blessed to have some good guys around me, and obviously some great players. So we've been able to maintain that tradition of winning at Potomac, and I like to think we've enhanced that program a little bit and made it a little better.
You could say that 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No.
Not bad at all.
All right. Well, you guys. I mean, there's a lot of. We were talking a little bit before the show. There's a lot of competition in Prince William County. Man, you guys, the schedule doesn't get any easier as you go through. Talk about some of the challenges that you have going through that Prince William County schedule.
Well, the challenge is, I guess there's a saying that says, it's easier hunting than it is to be the hunted.
Right.
And right now we're the hunted, and we go out and we scout other teams, local teams. And on paper, it says, we should win and win by a lot, but what I try to explain, especially to my assistant coaches, we're not going to get that same team Friday night.
Right.
Teams, when they play us, they put their cape on and all of a sudden, they get these superpowers that we never seen before. So, we typically have to deal, with the team's best effort, their best shot, and that's good. That,
right.
I don't want to make it sound like we're complaining about it, because we certainly welcome the competition. But, there's a ton of talent down there. It's 12 high schools right now. There's some great coaches in Prince William County, and obviously a host of talent. We've just been fortunate enough to kind of, stay on top, and we've been fortunate enough to win a lot of games.
How do you keep 16, 17-year-old kids who've had that kind of success humble? Because I know if I did, I'd be,
goodness.
If I had Twitter and a Facebook and some state championship rings, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Listen, a lot of meetings, a lot of one-on-one meetings, and a lot of prayer. But our kids, again, it helps when you build a culture.
Yeah.
And it helps when you can reflect back on players prior to them that they remember, and you can use those players and you can use those situations as example, of what to do and what not to do. But we have our issues here and there, but again, kids are going to be kids,
Sure.
And I think that's where I come in and our assistants come in terms of, mentoring these kids and getting them to understand how important the future is, because, we're dealing with a generation of right now. They don't think about tomorrow, they don't think about a week from now, and I think it's important for us not only to understand X's and O's, but it's really important for us to understand people and understand kids, and being able to give them the advice they need and give them examples they need to see what it is to be successful.
Well, I talked after seeing you guys play Osborne. I talked to John about it and told him it's amazing to me. You got guys. There's at least 6 guys who can go 15 at any point on that team.
Right.
Obviously, it says something about you as a coach that they're all unselfish. How do you get them to buy into that?
Well, that's a point of emphasis. I think if you look at what's happened to sports, especially in basketball, I think guys have put such an emphasis on scholarships that they've minimized winning.
Okay.
And if you stop and think about it, I've talked to enough college coaches, and I know enough of those guys to understand they want winners. Okay. They'd rather take a guy who's averaging 15, whose team wins, as opposed to a guy who's averaging 20, but his team loses. And I think, guys are forgetting that. So to our kids, you know, we have a great example. You know, last year we had a guy named Jeffrey Gordon. Jeffrey averaged his junior year, he averaged over about 20, 21 points a game at a different school. He came to us and I explained to him, I said, listen, you know, you got some great players around you. You know, he came to us, he had literally maybe one offer to Navy at the time, and then he came to us. I said, look, you know, we can help you. I said, but you're going to have to put winning first.
Right.
And he did that. He averaged 12 points a game for us. Now he's on a full scholarship to Barton. You know, so, you know, I have examples like that I can use with Jamal. I mean, let's be honest, Jamal, Eli, Nana, you know, even Devin, those guys could go other places and average probably 5 to 7 more points than they're averaging.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you're going to win, and we're going to help you achieve your ultimate goal, which is to get in college.
Right. We talk to a lot of coaches about the recruiting process.
Sure.
How do you handle that? I mean, when you have that many talented kids, I mean, you have phone calls, you got to handle from different colleges about different players on a regular basis. How grueling does that get?
Well, it does. I just think you have to manage it. You know, we never turn guys away at any time. If colleges want to come see us, they're more than welcome. Our doors are open. You know, if they want to inquire about our kids, we welcome it. You know, we tell our kids there's a time and place for everything, you know.
Right.
And right now we're in the season, and the time right now is the season. You know, we'll worry about that when the time comes. And again, fortunately, you know, kids trust that process. They trust our process because we have kids that have gone through the process, and we can show that we have kids that's been successful in this process. So it gets a little challenging, but it's part of the job, you know. And again, I was a 17-year-old kid, and I wanted to play college basketball. So I know how important it is to those kids, and we don't minimize that importance. We just prioritize it.
Right.
Okay. Well, you know, coming through the rest of the season, you got two guys. Just look, I'm getting distracted because I'm looking at the box score from the Freedom game the other night.
Right.
Jamal went for 31, Nana went for 32, and a triple-double. It's rare you see two guys go for 30 in the same game like that.
No.
Don't even say it. Don't even say it. Don't even say it.
Jim Fitzpatrick, are you watching?
Well, you got, let me ask you this. Let's say in a weird 21 Jump Street kind of scenario, you saw these two guys walk into your gym as players for Potomac. Off the looks of them, which one are you going to take on the team?
You.
You know why?
When my 280 doesn't hold up in high school.
Now, if it was a football, I'm going with my man.
The rebound.
You look like a shooter. You look like you can shoot.
that?
You look like you can stroke it.
It also, he can tell, I'm a grinder, I'm a work hard. You're going to get that man in trouble.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You're going to get that
My
man in
Twitter
trouble.
page would be banned.
No, Coach, we wish you the best of luck going through the rest of the year.
Sure.
Definitely.
It's a lot of fun to watch them play. Man, I've talked about Elijah Camp a lot. That dude, I think he can break down anybody and get to the basket anytime he wants, but that man just throws assists all over the place, and I love watching your
You need to
team.
fill a roster spot in the state championship game.
Yeah. Well, Eli's the head of the monster for us. You know,
Yeah.
he's the engine that makes the car go. So he's a vital piece to us, and obviously you saw that.
Absolutely, man. They're too much fun to watch. Man.
Very good.
Yes.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you very much for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you soon. I can't wait to get into Potomac and watch the game with those blue bloods
Man, he's
going.
an impressive coach, impressive program. I mean, he's got some good things going on down there.
Don't be mad. You know I'm happy. I asked him the question.
I know.
He would pick me.
I
He may be a little bit misguided on my
was about
ability
to
to
say,
shoot too.
hey, 100 pounds ago, I did look like a basketball player.
Maybe a little bit misguided on my ability to shoot, but
All right, Rob, you were at Langley for a doubleheader against Madison, girls and guys. Talk about that.
so Langley's getting some work done on the school.
Yeah?
A little bit of a situation, getting to the gym. Like they got,
Sure.
they got some halls closed off and everything, but the ride in there, the houses aren't bad on your ride.
Not
into
bad to
Langley.
look at.
No.
If your kids are going to public school at Langley,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So Langley, I get in there and there was a good crowd. You're not expecting a good crowd. It's a doubleheader. The girls'
Right.
game started at 5:45, I think. So, you're a little bit not sure how it's going to turn out. But they're playing Madison.
Yeah.
Madison, their students and their fans travel well.
They do.
Love Madison. Get there. The girls' game starts, and the Langley girls last year they knocked off Fairfax when they were undefeated.
That's right. I remember that.
They gave Oakton their only loss of the year. Like Langley's good. Coach Baker down there, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
That game starts, might be the best shooting first quarter I've ever seen. I mean,
By both teams?
Both teams, just
Okay.
shot for shot. I don't know if they missed a shot in the first 4 minutes of that game. I mean, it was impressive. Megan Mescal from Madison, she was balling in the. She's good. She was balling in that first quarter, in that first half. She was getting it done. She had 10 points in the game for Madison. Langley has a girl named Olivia Augustini. Like, they were down a little bit. It was 18-9 at the end of the first quarter. Madison was up. Olivia Augustini for Langley gets them back in the game. She just started, she kind of took over in that second quarter, gets them back in the game. It's 22-19 Madison at halftime. In the fourth quarter, the refs called a foul. There's always something I've never seen before. The refs call
You're beating up these refs.
and I'm trying not to. But the refs call a foul, and then they go and ask the players about it.
No.
I thought the Madison coaching staff was going to lose their minds. It was.
What do you mean they asked the players about it?
They were like, they were asking the players.
Like,
I don't know
did
if
she
they,
hit you?
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing, but they were asking the players, like, did you foul her? Did you? And the Madison coaching staff were like, are you asking them? Like, it was hilarious. But so game goes on in the second half. Langley's down. They go in. They completely dominated that second half. I mean, it was tough going for Madison late in that game. Langley has a player named Jordan Callahan. She's just like a quiet leader, but she completely controlled that game. She ends off with 15 in that game, but I'm telling you, she is tough, man. She's great. She tried to have her like a Jada Graves moment at the end of that game.
Oh, yeah?
You know, last year when Jada Graves hit the girl with the crossover
forget
3
that?
times. Yeah. She tried to do it. Didn't end up well. She ended up having a foul on the play, but she was going for it. She was going for that Jada Graves moment. But man, she was great in that game. They go on to win 44-33. Madison also has a player named Katie Sharon, who you could tell right away she's got confidence, and she's fun to watch. She's got confidence. But man, it's a good game. Ends off 44-33. After the doubleheader, I sent a message to Coach Baker to see if she was still in the building. Cause I wanted to congratulate her and try to get her on the show. She just said thank you. I'm not sure. I think she kind of blew me off. But Coach Baker, you should come on the show.
Come on the show.
They're great. She's a terrific coach. They're going to be a tough out for anybody. I'm not sure.
Me either.
I was wondering that too.
Huh. I mean, they have like some kind of Viking, right? Isn't that their thing? I'm looking at that.
I guess it's a Viking.
It's gotta be.
By the end of that game, student sections on both sides had filled in.
Is that right?
That place was getting nuts.
Yep.
Guys' game starts, place is packed. The Langley student section packed. The Madison student section packed. Langley, that gets to the end of the national anthem, they sing like the home of the Saxons.
Right.
It's crazy in there. Yeah. They've got a guy like leading the charge of the student section. You can tell he's kind of in control.
Yeah.
Madison looked in complete control of that game early. They just looked like they were like, the score was close, but they looked like they were going to be in control. Game goes on. I mean, it's tied up at halftime. It's tied up after the first, tied up after halftime. See my man Sam Kidd. I didn't even know Sam Kidd played basketball. That man's out there getting it done. I will say this, Sam Kidd needs to play more on that basketball team. Yeah, there were stretches he wasn't in that game. Sam Kidd needs to play more. John Finney, the receiver from Madison, too, he was in that game. He probably should play more.
Good basketball player too?
Yeah, man, and he can play. I may have disrespected Langley a little bit after I saw them in the Battlefield game.
Right.
They're good. They can play. Maybe it's the rivalry. Maybe, hey, Madison was 9-1 coming into that game. Langley was 6-7. got a little. There was some stuff going on in the crowd at one point at halftime. There was some of the Madison student section. One guy was a bench. The other guy was benching a guy.
No.
2 spotters on the side.
I
Like,
love it.
Yeah, it was crazy. There was the student sections for both teams were awesome. There was at one point in that game a guy from Langley got hurt. The student section from Madison started chanting, "He's too soft." Never
no.
seen that before. But, the guy got up and was like looking at the student section like, "Really?" It was not funny, but it was kind of comical.
Right. That's going to be the chant when cameraman Steve plays anybody in basketball.
That's going to be yeah.
Oh, they're gonna love it.
Man. Nicole, please.
Please. I need you to break his ankles and I will start the chant.
But Langley, Langley took over in the second half. Didn't look like there was much of a sense of urgency for Madison. They looked like they thought they were still going to be able to take control in that game. Langley just completely took over in that second half.
Right.
This game was all about 3 guys. I mean, Chaz Battaglia for Langley, he's really good, but man, there was 33 and 35. They're 2 big guys. I think it was Sami El-Rafi. Sami El-Rafi was getting it done.
Yeah?
Yeah, these 2 guys, they had 16 or 18 between them. They were really kind of controlling. There were some spots where they kicked out some passes that you just didn't expect from a big guy to kick out those passes for a 3. One guy had a layup, kicks it out for a 3, another guy hits the 3, and the place goes nuts, right?
Oh, that's great.
The Langley student section was going crazy. But there's a dude, Coulter Carton, number 15. This man was shooting the lights out of the place. He ends off the game with 16. Really had a couple of timely 3s in that game that set the game apart.
Yeah.
Langley goes on to win 52-43. The student section charges.
They stormed the court?
They stormed the court. Oh, it was awesome. I'm telling
That's
you what.
great.
Hey, we talk about student sections a lot. The Warhawk student section is great. Langley's,
Yeah? They're on the map now?
they are definitely they're way up there, man. They were engaged through the whole game. They were funny. They started they were nice.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, they started chanting, "Drive home safely." There's nothing wrong with that, man.
I like that.
Yeah, they were really good, man. That crowd was fired up through the whole thing. Shout out to Langley student section. They were
Very cool.
They were good. 52-43. Langley goes on to win.
You got a couple games you want to run through real quick?
Yes, man. There's our man Sam Shooter was out at the West Potomac Mount Vernon game this
Oh, yeah?
week. West Potomac, yo,
Pretty good.
you got to watch them play.
All these Potomacs.
I'm telling you got to watch West Potomac play.
All right.
They're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. Kaylin Fee for Oakton, she had 30 in a win over Robinson this week.
Okay.
She can shoot. Anna LeMaster, French for the Master.
I like that.
She had 31 in a Stonebridge win over Broad Run. Anthony Cooper from Broad Run does it again. Does it again. Late shot to beat Stonebridge in the Battle of the Burn out there. Anthony Cooper.
He's Mr. Clutch.
Mr. Clutch.
Mr. Clutch.
South County against Lake Braddock. South County put up 108 on Lake Braddock.
No.
Your guy, Corey Pelham, had 24 in the game for Lake Braddock.
Yeah.
Seth Dunn from the football team.
Oh, my fast guy.
Yeah.
I remember.
Seth Dunn had 21 in that game.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, man. There's... God, I love basketball.
Gotta get out there.
This week coming up, West Potomac is playing South County, and that's going to be that's going to be good. Oakton, both guys and girls playing Chantilly.
Okay.
That may be a terrific
Doubleheader?
Yeah, Chantilly. Both teams are good. The girls team is really good. They beat Herndon. They beat Herndon on Friday night. South Lakes and Langley.
Got to get out there.
South Lakes and
Where is
Langley.
that game at?
I think it's at Langley.
Okay.
I think
I'll check it out.
Man, I don't know. It should be a doubleheader. I don't think it's a doubleheader though. I wish that game was a doubleheader.
Yeah, rest of them coming for you.
Yeah, South Lakes at Langley. South Lakes, their girls won a game at the buzzer too.
Did they?
Yeah. Shout out to Tia Ballers.
Well, thanks for joining us as always.
Yes.
Prince William County Channel 2, Comcast Local, Reston Channel 28.
It's 28.
Always on RubberRunSports.com.
I'm about to get me a ring from Potomac.
Rob Giampapa, I'm John Moore, and we will see you next week.